and welcome to the lesson where we'll be discussing the syntax and usage of switch statements in Java. During this lesson, we'll discuss the following topics: syntax and usage of switch statements. We'll also see examples of switch statements in Java code, and we'll also understand differences between switch and if-else statements. A switch statement is a control flow statement that allows you to test a variable against multiple values and execute different code for each match. The variable being tested is called the switch expression, and the values it can match against are called cases. You can see the basic syntax for a switch statements on your current screen. And it's important to note that the switch expression must evaluate to a value of a primitive data type such as int, short, char, or byte, or their corresponding wrapper classes like integer, short, character, and byte. And also, the case labels must be of the same type as the switch expression. So here is an example of how you would use a switch statement to check the value of a variable named day and print out the corresponding day of week. So we have already defined the variable of type int with name day and the value of 3. After that, you can see that there is a switch statement and there are 7 cases and the default case. So for each day of week, we have a separate case. So what happens under the hood? We check if day equals to 1. If it does, then we print Monday. If it doesn't, then we check if the day is equal to 2, then we will print Tuesday, and so on and so forth. For all of the cases, we check if the day is equal to the case value, and we print the corresponding day of week. The value of variable day is 3, so the case with value 3 will be executed. And here we have a print line which prints Wednesday to the console. So let's run the program and see the output. Okay, so Wednesday was printed to the console. But let's update the code in the following way and check the result again. Let me remove this break. And let's run the code. Can you guess what will happen? So Wednesday and Thursday was printed to the console. And this is because the break statement is used to do the following. If we entered the case body, then after the execution of this body, the next case will be executed if there is no break statement. It means in this case, the day is equal to 3. So we executed this block of code, and since there is no break statement, we fall into the next case, so the case number 4, which prints Thursday. And in this case, we have a break statement. So the break statement makes sure that we quit the switch statement after we execute the case. Also, please note that there is a default case. It will be executed if the day doesn't match any of these cases. So, for example, let's update the value of day to 13. As you can see, there is no case with value 13. So, default case will be executed and it will print invalid day to the console. So let's run the program and see the output. Okay, invalid day was printed, as you can see. So don't forget to use break statements where necessary, and just note that you can also use the default statements if necessary. Let's take a look at an example of a switch statement in action. You can see the demo 1 example. This code will output March because the variable months is equal to 3. If the variable months was equal to 13, it would output invalid months because 13 is not a valid month. It's important to note that unlike if-else statements, the switch statement only tests for equality. Also, the cases are limited to certain types like int, short, byte, char, and enum. In the next part of this lesson, we'll be discussing the differences between switch and if-else statements and when it's appropriate to use one over the other. So stay tuned. One main difference between if-else statements and switch is that a switch statement can only be used to compare a single expression against a list of values, while an if-else statement can be used to check multiple conditions. This means that a switch statement is more suitable for situations when you have a single expression and a limited number of possible values, while an if-else statement is more suitable for situations where you have multiple conditions to check. Another difference is that a switch statement can only compare values of certain data types, such as int, char, and enum, while an if-else statement can be used to check any type of conditions. Here is an example of the switch statement. You can see it on the demo 2. And here is an example of if-else statement you can see on the demo 3. So the logic under the hood is the same, but the implementation is different. Both of this example will produce the output Wednesday. In summary, switch and if-else statements are similar in that both allow you to control the flow of your program based on certain conditions. However, switch statements are best suited for situations where you have a single expression and limited number of possible values, while if-else statements are best suited for situations where you have multiple conditions to check. So that's it for the lesson. Thank you for your time and see you on the next one. Bye.